Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here tonight with the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam review. It is Wednesday night, September 22nd, 2021. Once again, Wes, tonight we created history in New York City, and I just told you on camera that I feel like AEW has made themselves a very nice home in New York City. They had 20,000, 177 people. They had over 20,000 people in that arena tonight. They were loud. That freaking they wouldn't shut up during that opening match, and they literally had everybody standing on their feet doing Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. This show tonight, it was incredible. And you knew going into it, this is going to be exactly like All Out. We didn't have the surprise debuts like we had at All Out, but man, we had an incredible show, and this is one. This is a hit. This is a history books for AEW, and I think Tony Khan is planning to run this venue every year. Which I mean, God bless him, man. He's doing something. He's doing great by having that show at Arthur Ashe once a year. Just an incredible show. I couldn't be any happier right now, man. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling amazing, man. This show was just such a grand spectacle tonight, man. I mean, AEW knocked it out of the park. 20,000 strong in New York City tonight, man. The second the show opened and I see all those people in the crowd tonight, I'm just thinking to myself, good Lord, this is Dynamite. This isn't even a pay-per-view. This is freaking AEW Dynamite. This is a free television show that I'm watching, and there's 20,000 people in a big soccer stadium just going crazy for professional wrestling, man. It was such a sight to see. And boy, oh boy, what a barn burner we got tonight to open this freaking show, man. 30-minute classic by Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, man, and just so much more amazing action that we're going to talk about. And I mean, dude, I can't wait to dive right into AEW Grand Slam tonight, man. AEW is doing bigger things as time goes on. 2021 has been a Grand Slam of a year for All Elite Wrestling, and man, it's going to continue to get amazing going forward, going into full gear in November, man. I mean, we got so much to look forward to.
Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. This show literally was a grand slam, no pun intended, but tonight's show was a grand slam. And I really loved everything on the show. The matches were great. Punk's promo was awesome. We'll get to that. And, just looking at AEW's future, it's amazing. I can't wait for the shows that they got coming up, next week. They didn't really advertise much for next week, but we do know that next week is going to be Sammy Guevara versus Miro for the TNT Championship, and that's going to be a fantastic TNT title match. Could be Miro's his best defense so far as the champion. So we will have to see, but folks, we might as well dive right into the review, shall we? Let's dive right into things. The show opened up with the usual Dynamite intro, and once the intro was done, I had to talk. I don't usually talk about this, but when the freaking pyro went off, and New York was literally giving out a huge roar, I really got chills on my arms, man. Like watching that, holy shit, that was awesome, man. That was absolutely awesome. The crowd, as soon as they were like, "Whoa!" I was blown away, man. That was unfreaking believable.
It's unreal, man. The electricity that you feel from AEW crowds is unlike any other. I mean, AEW crowds are the best pro wrestling crowds to be a part of. And man, I cannot wait until I get to experience that live again and just be a part of that big happy family that is the AEW fan base, man. I mean, it's just there's just nothing but happiness, with the AEW fan base, man, because we're getting such quality television, such quality pro wrestling on a weekly basis, whether it's Wednesday, whether it's Friday, whether it's Monday and Tuesday for Elevation and Dark. We're getting professional wrestling the way it should be done, the way it should always be done, and AEW always delivers on that promise.
I don't have to be at the shows to know this, but being at an AEW show is literally like being at a party. You're just going there for a lot of hours. You're talking to people that love the same thing as you do, and you're just screaming out the top of your lungs. And it's really the same thing as parties, right? Like you go to a party, you hang out with chill people. You're blasting the music, screaming off the top of your lungs. That's really what it is, to be honest with you. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a big, happy, fun party when you're experiencing AEW. Heck, even when you're here in the comfort of your home watching it, or just wherever. If you're watching on your phone by chance, you maybe have your cable service on your phone. You're watching AEW, man. It's just like you feel that excitement just through the screen. You just feel it so much, and that's what you love in pro wrestling, man. A crowd makes professional wrestling that much greater, and a crowd was sorely missed for professional wrestling throughout the pandemic. And I'm so happy that we have crowds back again, man. And just having that 20,000 strong in New York City tonight, man. I mean, they brought it. And man, I can't wait to see how much more they bring it for Friday's episode of Rampage, that 2 hour special we're getting. I mean, it's just such a fun week for AEW. It's such a fun time being a part of just this entire journey, man. And I mean, I've said it many, many, many times, man. I'm always here for the long haul of this. And man, I mean, AEW is a powerhouse for sure. And I mean, again, I mean, it's just unbelievable to think what they're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years from now, man. It's just they're already accomplishing so much in so little time that a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, man. People thought they couldn't sell out 10,000 people back in 2018. They did that. They thought they couldn't sell out 20,000. They did that tonight. What makes you think they can't sell out 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, and so on? It's going to continue to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. AEW is not messing around. AEW is here to deliver. They're delivering professional wrestling, folks. That's sports entertainment, not any hokey garbage. It's professional wrestling.
Seems like this pissant T-shirt company has made a pretty far way in its 2 years, don't you say? Don't you
Absolutely.
say? And they're about to come up on their 2 year anniversary of Dynamite, and you know, no one believed in them. So
Nobody did. And I from the start, myself, you, so many other people believed in AEW from day freaking one. As soon as that logo was revealed, as soon as that logo right there was revealed, we were all elite since day one. And I will never stop being all elite. I'm with this company to the very end. I'll be with this company on my deathbed, man, because that's how much I love professional wrestling. That's how much I love this business, how much I love this company and what they are doing for the professional wrestling fan. It is so beautiful to see, man. I am all elite to the day I freaking die.
yeah, man, absolutely. So Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega started off the show. Um, this was a time limit draw. I thought it was a 20-minute time limit. This was apparently a 30-minute time limit. So they went exactly 30 minutes. And you tweeted this out. I saw your tweet. What a half hour this was, man. This was, God, I don't even know how, I can't even just put it into words. It's like I was blown away by the match, the crowd. The crowd was a huge part of that match when you think about it. They were really a big part of that match. So, um, it's just unbelievable, man. An unbelievable match. The pacing was excellent. It was slow, technical in the beginning. Bryan slowed the pace down, working on Kenny's arm. Kenny was slow with Bryan. The part of the match where things started to pick up was when Omega hit the Snapdragon on the ramp to Bryan, and then he started from all the way up in stage down to the ring and hit probably the most brutal V trigger I think I've ever seen Kenny Omega hit before, man. He freaking hit Bryan square in the ear. Man, damn, that was freaking brutal. And then they went into commercial break. They had one commercial. I'm not going to complain because it's one commercial. It's 3 minutes commercials out of a 30-minute match. I'm not going to complain. So we get back. and Bryan is knocked out. He's still knocked out from his V trigger. Omega gives him a drop kick to the back. Bryan kicks out. Omega tries to go for another V trigger. Bryan rolled him up. There's a lot of great spots towards this end. Bryan hit a back suplex off the top rope. Omega had an freaking Snapdragon.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Avalanche Snapdragon off the top rope. Bryan kicked out. He went for a V trigger. He hit his knee. Bryan did the kicks, the yes kicks. Man, those yes chants were thunderous, man. It reminded me of WrestleMania 30. No cap right there, man. No cap. But so Bryan was going for the yes lock. Omega had this scouted very well. Countered the yes lock, didn't let Bryan get it in, and then Bryan tries to go in again, and the bell rings, and we get a 30-minute time limit draw. They're still fighting. The Young Bucks and Adam Cole come out to pull Bryan off, and at the end, all three of them give Bryan super kicks, and Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson ended in a 30-minute time limit draw in an absolute classic technical wrestling match, a clinic, and this will undoubtedly go down as probably the best television match of the year, or if you want, the best match of the year. Right now, it's between this match, the Lucha Bros Young Bucks from All Out, and Walter and Ilya Dragunov from NXT TakeOver 36. Those are easily the three top matches of the year, but this is the top television match of the year. No doubt. No doubt in my mind. I can't think of another match that comes close to this. So the time limit draw. I'm glad it happened. I thought going into it, I thought Bryan Danielson was going to win this match because I didn't think that going in, you can't have Danielson lose his first match in AEW. So I thought the Young Bucks were going to come down, try to help Kenny, and it was going to backfire, and Bryan was going to win with the running knee. That's what I thought was going to happen. Now looking back at it, I'm glad they did the time limit draw. It now can bring up round 2 for the AEW, this time for the title. It could do round 2 for the title. You could possibly do an Iron Man match, just like Pac and Kenny Omega on that episode of Dynamite before Revolution in 2020. You could do an Iron Man match for the world title at Full Gear, and then Omega goes over. But as far as tonight goes, absolute classic match. And a freaking 30 minutes that I was blown away. I was literally locked to my television for 30 minutes. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off of it at all. So this was unbelievable. I've went on this for about 7 minutes now. It's 6 minutes. Let's hear what Wesley Williams has to say about this dream match between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega that happened tonight.
I mentioned this on Twitter tonight that this by far is the best singles match you will see in 2021. And, I don't care if anybody out there disagrees with me. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, I don't care. Personally, for me, this is match of the freaking year. I have not watched a better match. And honestly, I'm not trying to take anything away from the tag team match, the wonderful tag team championship steel cage match. We got it all out. I'm not taking anything away from that. That by far best tag team match of all of all 2021, no doubt about it. There's not a single tag team match that's better than that, and that for sure is ranked high up on my list. But watching this tonight, man, a dream match, a match that was so many years in the making. Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, two of the very best in this entire business. Bryan Danielson, my boy Bryan Danielson, my favorite wrestler of all time, man. Seeing him come out tonight in that maroon gear with that roaring ovation from the
That
20,000
pop
strong in
was
New York.
amazing.
That
That
pop,
pop.
man. I mean, I'm just watching this and I'm just smiling the whole entire time I'm watching this entrance from both men. The entire match itself, and I'm watching this and I'm smiling from ear to ear. My heart is pumping so fast. I'm standing up. I'm sitting down in my living room. I'm pacing back and forth. It's in awe of what I'm seeing in front of my very eyes and thinking to myself, this is what we're getting on free television, man. Free television. We're getting this match, and I'm like, AEW truly loves their fan base, man. The fact that they're giving us this match for free on television, and it was just such an unbelievable experience. And I can't even imagine how it must have felt live. Shout out to our boy Indigo, man. You are one lucky son of a bitch, man. You got to see that match live in person in your first ever wrestling show live, man. And I couldn't be happier for him. And so shout out to our boy Indigo, man. He deserved that more so than anybody else, really. But yeah, man, there's not much words you can really say with this other than it was just absolutely incredible in every single way. It was what you could have expected from these two men and more. And they delivered in the best way possible. And again, I don't care if anybody disagrees with me. This is my match of the year, and we'll see if round two, because I feel like round two is definitely going to come sooner rather than later. We'll see if that can top what they did tonight, man. I don't know. I mean, they really, I think they gave the freaking All Out pay-per-view a run for their money with this freaking match, man. I mean, this was truly a spectacle for sure, man. I mean, you could just feel. I mean, the collar and elbow tie-up got a big pop. The collar and elbow tie-up of all the most basic wrestling hold in any wrestling match, and it got a huge pop. That goes to show you that people want professional wrestling and they want it done right. And AEW does it right. They do it right, and they did it right here tonight. Not just with this match, but the show they produced tonight. What they gave us at All Out on September 5th. They know how to deliver professional wrestling in the best way. And man, I just can't really say much else. I mean, this was just incredible, and I love the fact that it did end in a time limit draw. That was the best possible result. It protects both guys very well, and it's something I'm very happy AEW doesn't use too often. It's not something they abuse. It's something they use for special occasions. We've seen them use it for Cody and Darby a couple of years ago. We've seen them use it here, obviously, with Kenny and Bryan, and they know how to use it. And I really appreciate them not overblowing it with the time limit draws. That they use it only for the most special of occasions. And this was definitely an occasion that was meant for the time limit draw. And I do believe that the window is now open. If Hangman isn't set to come back anytime soon for a match against Omega for the world title, I do believe that we're going to get round two at Full Gear between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega, this time for the AEW World Championship. And, Josie brought up a couple ideas, maybe do an Iron Man match, do a 60 time limit. I'm all for that, man. Just as long as we get this match again, I think I'm going to be all right. But it's just truly unbelievable, man. Bryan Danielson and AEW, it's really just, it's unbelievable to watch. And, man, I can't wait to see what else comes after this big, huge match tonight.
Now, before we move on, my question is, how do we get to that second match between Danielson and Omega? Because you have two underdog baby faces in Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page. And I've seen a lot of people on social media say, well, how about a gauntlet match against the Elite? They got to go through Nakazawa, Brennan Cutler, the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole to get to the final boss, Kenny Omega. You can't do that with both Danielson and Page. And I do think that should be saved for Page. So how do we get to Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega too? That's my question.
It will be interesting to see if there's anybody I trust with this. It's AEW. It's Tony Khan. I think they're gonna give us all a way to get us to this match in a very logical and in a way that makes sense, and that we can all look at it and be like, okay, that's how we do it. All right, that sounds good to me. So, we got some time before we get to full gear. I believe it's November 13th is the date. So we got a couple months, a little less than a couple months. So maybe they just figure out a way. Maybe Bryan, they get him to rack up some more wins for himself, get him up there in the rankings. Bryan already knows that he can't just walk in and ask for a title shot. You know, he has to work his way up. That's what Christian Cage did in order to earn his AEW World Championship shot against Kenny Omega at All Out. So, and I love the fact that they're still going by the ranking system. You gotta earn your way to it. You can't just simply get on a microphone and ask, "Hey, I want your title." And then the title match is booked. This isn't that other company. We're not in that other company. We're in a company that actually books by rankings. And so I'm very happy they use that ranking system in order to get us title matches that make sense, that aren't just done out of desperation, not done out of a ratings ploy. It's done out of actual logic and actual storytelling. So I appreciate it. So we'll see what happens, but I do believe, like I said, AEW and Tony Khan will do right by the fans by delivering us the second match and getting us there in a logical and story told way. So
Next, let's get away from Danielson and Omega. We could talk about it all night here, folks, but we have to move on. Next up, we had CM Punk. So we go from Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega right to a CM Punk talking segment. How lucky are we? How lucky are we? So I'm going to give you this one. Your first thoughts on the Punk promo here. I thought this was great. I thought he sold this like he's going into a world title match on a pay-per-view. And he's just having a match Friday night against Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm glad that they made this into a big deal, man. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you can't really expect much else from a guy like CM Punk, man. One of the best to ever do it in the ring, and one of the best to ever do it on the mic. And he showed that tenfold tonight here in New York, man. And just the energy. I mean, you could just feel that energy that he's feeling in that crowd tonight, man. I mean, coming out that 20,000 strong. I love that in his promo. He's like, I come out here, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, but when I come out here, I see all you people. And I feel the roar. It makes him happy. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I love that. And it's genuine. It's not forced. It's a genuine reaction because, I mean, how would you feel coming out to 20,000 people chanting your name, singing along to your theme song? I mean, it's going to be the best feeling in the world. That's for sure. And Punk, he putting over, this match, man, he really, like you said, he really did make it feel like a world title match, even though it's just, a simple one-on-one match booked for Rampage this Friday. But I love the fact that it's giving that more important, big fight feel to the match. It's giving it more importance, and I that's why I love and appreciate about AEW. Is like they can make the most meaningless matches sometimes make it look like that much more meaningful just by like the video packages or a promo. I mean, tonight it was a promo. The Punk's promo really put over this match for Friday. And I mean, what a match this is going to be for Hobbs, man. I mean, as young as he is, the fact that he's about to tie it up with CM Punk, I mean, I can't imagine he's feeling any other way other than just pure excitement and pure adrenaline. And I think these two guys are definitely going to deliver a great match this Friday. But, Punk, man, is terrific on the mic. I can't wait to see when Punk really goes like full force, just goes straight shoot mode on so many people, man. It is going to be ridiculous. I'm just imagining all the promo battles you can have with guys like MJF, guys like Adam Cole, guys like Kenny Omega, man. I mean, it's just like, golly, it's like it's stuff you dream about. It's stuff you think it wouldn't happen, but it's possibly going to happen because CM Punk's in AEW. He is all elite, and man, it's just so great to see him all the time come out and just feel that energy, and CM Punk just coming out, and it's like, even if I'm pissed off, man, I love the feeling of coming out here to all these fans, chanting my name, singing my theme song, and loving what I do and loving professional wrestling. So this was a great segment here. It really sold us on the match for Friday, and it's going to be a nice little one-on-one match, that's for sure.
Yep, I agree with everything that you said. So we're going to move on here. We had MJF against Brian Pillman Jr. And I have to say this before we talk about the match. Nina Friedman, if you do not know who she is MJF's mother. She tweeted out before the show, probably not going to make the cover of Parents Magazine, but see you at Arthur Ashe tonight. And she is with her husband, and she's got the MJF scarf on. And he's got a shirt on that says, I hate MJF. And she has a poster that says, we're MJF's parents, We think he sucks too. And then he quote tweets that, and he tweets, F you, mom. I love MJF, dude. My God.
And this guy is literally he will never ever live down that gimmick of being just the most dastardly son of a bitch in the world, man. He is, oh man, he is just so great at what he does, man. I mean, you can't help but just praise him for the job that he does every single week.
I took your word. I took your words that usually you say, and I tweeted out earlier. This guy literally has no chill.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. Like, he will bury his own mother. If that doesn't tell you what kind of heel he is and how he's on the top of the mountain when it comes to heels in professional wrestling, I don't know what will, man. You're burying your own mother. I mean, come on now, man. Jeez.
Oh man! So they were in the crowd for this match against Brian Pillman Jr. This was probably the biggest match of Brian Pillman Jr.'s career. 20,000 people in a match against MJF. Um, it's a big stage for Pillman Jr. I thought he did very good tonight. I like what I saw from him. The match was solid. I mean, it was really hard to care about this match because, of course, what happened with Danielson and Omega. So, excuse me if I didn't really care about this match, but the match was fine for what it was. MJF got into a face, and he got into the face of Julia Hart. He was forcing her to kiss his lips, and she slapped him in the face. And then Brian Pillman, he did a suicide. Yeah, he did a suicide, and was going for his finisher. MJF caught him and salted the earth, tapped out, and we got the MJF win. Pillman Jr. looked really good tonight, and with everything that happened on Monday, if you don't know what happened on Monday, AEW announced that they are partnering up with the Owen Hart Foundation. He's going to be AEW is going to make an action figure of him. He's going to be in the AEW video game. He's still going to sell his merchandise, um, and they're going to do a tournament coming up pretty soon, which is called the Owen Cup, I think, and the winner is going to receive the Owen Trophy. I think a guy like Brian Pillman Jr. could really use that trophy, man. I mean, I really think that would be great for him. So, what did you think about this match? And now that I brought it up, what do you think about the Owen tournament and the Owen Hart Foundation? You got it, man.
Yeah, I'll first go over the match here. The match itself, very solid. To be fair, anybody following Omega and Danielson was going to not get that loud of a reaction. So, I mean, it was understandable. I mean, nobody could have gotten, a bigger reaction than what Danielson and Omega did tonight. So, I mean, it's, no fault of Pillman or MJF, but they still delivered a very solid match tonight. I thought these two guys worked really well together. I mean, Pillman, I imagine he had to have felt like he was on cloud nine coming out there to the biggest crowd that he's ever wrestled in front of, in 20,000 people. And I couldn't be happy for the guy, man. The guy's worked his ass off, and I'm happy that he's made it to AEW, and he's really just made himself into a very electric, very just fiery athlete in the ring. And I'm liking that we've been seeing the singles run with them. We've been mentioning on the podcast. I'm enjoying this singles run for Pillman. I think he deserves it. I mean, he's such a great young star, and of course, nothing to take away from MJF either, man. MJF 25 years old, man. I mean, the guy is honestly probably the biggest heel in all professional wrestling. I mean, the guy, like I said, the guy buried his own mother. You can't get more heel than that. You buried your own freaking mother, man. But yeah, I mean, they did a really good job. MJF picks up the win. I felt like that was the right decision. And I don't know where they go next with MJF exactly, but I did mention this before. I do believe we might be heading down the MJF Wardlow route sometime in the near future. I don't know if it's going to happen really, really soon, but I feel like Wardlow is biding his time before he eventually makes that switch on MJF, which I cannot wait for, man. I hope that gets a massive pop from the crowd. I feel like it definitely will, knowing the heat that MJF gets from every crowd that he's in front of. It should be a great moment. And
Yeah,
then
Wardlow is going to come off as a hero when that happens.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's gonna be awesome, man. And Wardlow deserves a big moment like that. I mean, he's a very solid big man. I feel like he's got so much upside. When you see him in the ring, I feel like he can definitely be like a Batista-esque kind of figure in the AEW as time goes on. So we're gonna see what happens, but I just don't know what else you could really have for MJF at this very time and place. So I feel like we could be getting MJF and Wardlow sometime in the near future. As far as the Owen Hart tournament goes, man, I mean, if you're a true professional wrestling fan, you should be very, very happy about this news. And when I heard this news this past Monday, it really warmed my heart. Man, Owen Hart, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, man, undoubtedly. One of the best technical wrestlers of all time as well. I mean, add that in there as well. And the fact that Martha Hart, she didn't want WWE to have Owen's name or to have his likeness or to have him, recognized in any way. And for good reason, because, honestly, folks, if you really look at the situation, WWE was the ones who pretty much aided in the fact that Owen Hart died. I mean, when you really kind of look at it, it was a dumb error that could have easily been fixed. If you watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode, especially about Owen Hart, you'll see this whole mistake that happened with his entrance could have easily been avoided if people were actually using their brains, but they weren't. And unfortunately, Owen is no longer with us because of that. But it was so heartwarming to just see the fact that Martha Hart, looks at AEW, she looks at Tony Khan, and she saw something great there, and she was like, I can trust these people because these people truly love and respect Owen Hart for what he did in the ring, what he did outside the ring, how much of a pioneer he was for professional wrestling and for the wrestlers that have been influenced by him over all these years, man. And the fact that he's going to be in the AEW video game too, man, that is going to be so sick. I cannot wait to have Owen Hart playing up against freaking Brian Pillman, against Jungle Boy, against Adam Cole, against you name it. I mean, that AEW video game roster is going to be so unbelievably stacked. It's not even funny. But overall, though, it's just such a great thing to see Owen Hart to be just immortalized this way with the tournament, being in the video game, having merchandise sold, with AEW and Owen Hart being in a collaboration. It's just truly wonderful. I mean, if you're a true professional wrestling fan, you should be happy with this. I know there's been a minute group of people over the past couple of days that have been very salty about the situation. If you are, I give you a big one of these right here. So, yeah, that's what you deserve. If you're upset about this, go fuck yourself, please, royally. So, yeah, I was going to get that little out there really quick. But I know 99% of individuals are very happy about this news, as they should be. And I just can't wait to see this tournament. And I did a Q&A the other day that if I was asked by our good friend Gamers Goon who should win the Owen tournament. Early prediction for me, I had two men that first came to mind: Brian Pillman Jr. and the other being Kevin Steen. Now, Kevin Owens, as we know, is still employed with WWE, but we did find out the contract news about him and with WWE that it comes up this upcoming January in 2022. I do believe with this announcement of the Owen Hart tournament and everything, and Owen Hart being associated with AEW, I feel like that gives all the reason in the world right then and there for Kevin Owens to jump ship to AEW, and we see the return of Kevin Steen. Kevin Owens has made it really known that Owen Hart is, I think, his favorite wrestler of all time, I believe. If not, it's one of his favorites.
He named his son after Owen Hart as well.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that right there, I feel like Kevin Owens probably saw that and he was just like thinking, yep, I need to just go over there now. And honestly, I hope it happens, man. So if there's anybody who should win this tournament, my two choices are either Brian Pillman Jr. or Kevin Steen, if he does in fact jump ship to AEW, which I do hope happens in the near future.
Absolutely so. I'm very happy about that news. When I saw that on Monday, it brought a huge smile on my face. It should make for fun television whenever they decide to, start that tournament. So we will see that happen soon. I'm very happy about that. Also, something I was very happy about was Cody Rhodes against Malachi Black. And did you realize the left face of Malachi Black was whitened all the way up to his eye, and he had a red contact in his eye during the match? It was not white, it was a red contact. Did you realize that?
I did. I noticed that when they were in the ring, they had the camera on Malachi. I saw the red contact. I was like, oh, wow. Another new look for Malachi. It continues the storytelling of his face and the eye and the all the paint on his face. It's growing more and more. And it's such great storytelling. I don't know what it's all leading to, but I really love the storytelling aspect of this whole thing going on with Malachi's face, his eye, and with everything going on with that. It's man, I mean, just little details like that can really just go a long way.
Okay, so this match I thought was very good.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes got more heat than MJF did today. I'm just gonna say, freaking this man was booed the entire match, and these fans are not stupid. These New York fans, they are some of the most hardcore wrestling fans in this entire world. So they knew going into this match that they did not want Cody Rhodes to win this match. And God forbid Cody Rhodes won this match. It would have been a complete disaster, in my opinion. Thank goodness he did not win this match. Brandy Rhodes came out there. When I saw her, I was like, ugh. He's definitely winning now. He's got Arn. He's got his wife. Malachi Black's on a 3-on-1 situation. This man was even working as the heel in this match, because really the entire match, not the entire match, but for most of the match, he was working over the left knee of Malachi Black. And that's what usually heels do to baby faces. Am I right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you had to have seen Cody was having heelish tendencies in this match with Malachi Black. And the reaction was not very polite for one Cody Rhodes, man. Man, how the tides have really turned with him, huh? I mean, and I love Cody, and I really, I mean, I love the person that he is. I really do. I really appreciate him as, of course, but I know he said openly that he said literally he'll retire before he even goes heel again. And honestly, though, I feel like with this reaction tonight from the New York crowd and the reactions he honestly has been getting in recent memory, probably isn't too bad of an idea to turn heel at this point. I just feel like you probably should just go through with it, because I don't think people are really going to receive Cody all that well in this day and age, especially with all the members of the roster you have now. And just knowing how over Malachi Black is, man. I mean, who's going to boo Malachi Black, honestly? I mean, you really can't boo this guy, even if he is being a heel or whatever.
He goes in there, and he's a fighter, and he kicks people's heads off. So who's literally going to go in there and boo Malachi Black? Like, he's literally one of my top 5 favorites in AEW right now.
For real. I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense for people to you're expecting people to cheer Cody Rhodes right now over Malachi Black, and he even looked at the entrance, like people were making fun of his entrance get up and crap, and people I think were saying he was a Homelander or whatever, but coming out with the cape and everything and the whole get up, I'm like, people aren't gonna like this. People are gonna not like this, and people saw the writing on the wall. They were like, dude, and honestly, Joseph, I'm with you, man. When I saw Brandy and Arn coming out, I was like, oh no. Like, please don't tell me no. But thankfully, that did not happen. We got the right result, the result that we all wanted and needed. Malachi Black did, in fact, win. He pulled out that black mist from his mouth. Shades of Tajiri, shades of the great Muda. I mean, paying homage to some of the greats in this business. That was the way out Malachi would win. The black mist rolling up Cody for the win. But even if some people really weren't that big of a fan of the finish, Malachi won. I think that's something we can all agree. Yes, that was the right finish. I don't think we can argue over that.
I like the finish personally because it showed the side that Malachi Black, he'll really do anything for a win. And Cody, he got under Cody's skin. He's in Cody's head. Cody got his Cody's emotions got the best of him as he kicked out. He hit the freaking diamond, the springboard cutter into the crossroads, and I'm like, oh no, please kick out Malachi Black. Thankfully, he kicked out at 2 1/4. Then Arn Anderson jumped off to the top rope, pissed off. Cody went to Irish Whip. Something. I don't know what was going on, but Cody bumped into Arn. Then Cody gives Malachi Black a pump kick. Cody went to go check on Arn, and Arn was yelling at him. I didn't know what he was saying, but it looked like he was yelling, and Brandy was kind of pissed off. Then Cody went to go get Malachi Black, and he got misted in the face. Malachi Black's face paint all went off after he misted Cody in the face. He rolled him up, and he got the win. So I'm not going to complain. I thought the finish was good. Personally, in my opinion, Malachi Black wins. That's the main thing with Malachi Black right now, bro. Just keep winning. Just keep winning. That's the main thing. That's the main thing with Malachi Black. Just keep winning right now. So, any last minute thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Malachi just needs to keep this winning streak going for as long as he can. He's an unstoppable force right now, man. I mean, and AEW's just done such a tremendous job up to this point of just making Malachi look like an absolute beast. I mean, this is the guy who should have this guy we should have seen in WWE, but WWE, of course, missed the boat on this man as they did to so many other talent. And now look where some of this talent is now, and look how much they're thriving in a new environment in All Elite Wrestling. But I'm very happy with the result. I don't know where Malachi Black really goes. I would assume the feud with Cody's over. I can't imagine they go any further than this. I think this is it. I don't know. Maybe we get one more match, but I feel like this is it. I feel like Malachi should really just move on to something else because I want to see him go at it with so many other guys in that locker room, man. I mean, there's so many other dream matches I want with Malachi Black. So hopefully we move on from this. And, what happens with Cody, I don't know. I just don't think it would be a bad idea at this point for him to turn heel. I know he said before he doesn't want to do it, but I just feel like you really should just go through it at this point because I don't think anybody is really going to receive Cody all that well in this day and age, So
before we move on to the tag team match, whenever Malachi has his next match, I don't know. You know who I'd like to see him mix it up with? Dante Martin. I think that would be an awesome match.
Ooh, yes. Give me that match. Tenfold. Take my money for that, man. Dante Martin, the young 20-year-old young star in AEW going up against Malachi Black, the unstoppable force. I mean, that's a recipe for success right there, man. That'd be a great match to book for either Dynamite or Rampage. I mean, whatever show you want to put it on, man, I'd say go for it for sure.
Absolutely. So we got to get into FTR against Sting and Darby Allin. Did it look like to me? To me, it looked like Sting had Joker face paint on tonight.
It looked a little bit like he was bringing back that Joker Sting style again that he used over in TNA. It looked a bit like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this was a super fun tag team match. This was a really fun match. I would probably say this goes right in the middle as my favorite match of the night. Obviously, Danielson and Omega is the best match of the night, but this was a super fun match. I might piss off the shills really quick, so I don't really care if I offend them. Sting right now wrestles better than half of the WWE roster. And who would be saying that in 2021? That Sting's wrestling better than half of the WWE roster right now. This man is wrestling like he's 32 instead of 62. It's crazy, man. He looked great tonight. That spot at the end, when I think about it, we had all those great spots in the Bryan Danielson Omega match. We had the ending with Cody and Black. We had Soho and Britt Baker at the end with a lot of great stuff happening in that match. One of my favorite spots of the entire night was when Sting had the Scorpion Deathlock in on Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler was grabbing his hands, like being don't tap. Instead of Darby Allin just dragging him out the ring, Darby Allin, this man, goes up to the top rope and hits a freaking coffin drop onto Cash Wheeler. That right there was one of my favorite moves the entire night. That was fantastic, man. It breaks up the hold that FTR has, and Dax Harwood he taps out. That ending was awesome. What did you think about that match?
Yeah, this match was just a barrel of fun, man. And like you said, Sting's coming in there wrestling at 62 years old, like as if he's 32. I mean, Sting has not lost a single beat whatsoever. This man, I mean, my goodness, he moves around better in the ring than I could probably do at 24 years old, man. It's truly remarkable, man. I mean, I have never seen a 62-year-old wrestler move as well as Sting does. I mean, seriously, I mean, and you don't see many 60-plus-year-old wrestlers in a ring now these days, but man, I mean, golly, I mean, you look at Sting here in AEW, and then you look at freaking Oldberg in WWE, and I'm like, golly, it's night and day, man. Holy crap! Like Goldberg wishes he could have just a cookie crumb of what Sting can do in that ring in 2021, man. It is unreal, and this was just like I said, a lot of fun. I mean. And I expected it to be just a very, very fun, very good tag team match, and that's what we got. I love the NWO style gear tonight by FTR. That was a really nice touch there. I thought that was really cool. Some people did have FTR winning this match tonight. I'm not too upset about the result. It's not to the point where I'm like, crapping on the match or anything. It's not. FTR is going to be fine. FTR is FTR. I mean, we already know they're one of the best tag teams in the world.
Still one of the best. Yeah, they're still one of the best tag teams in the world.
Yeah, they don't look bad after this, really. I mean, FTR picking up a win would have been really good for them, but it's not something that's gonna make them look horrible going forward. I mean, this was just a very fun tag team match to give the audience just something to look forward to, and like you said, Joseph, that ending spot with Sting having Dax Harwood and the Scorpion Deathlock, and then Darby hitting that coffin drop onto Cash Wheeler, onto the apron, mind you, on the apron too. Even if you're landing on somebody, still landing on the apron has to suck so badly, but it's Darby Allin, and he doesn't care at all for his own well-being, so he's just gonna do whatever the hell he wants, and we're gonna freaking cheer to the sun comes up, man, because we love ourselves some Darby Allin, we love ourselves some Sting, and we love some tag team wrestling in AEW, and AEW does it right, and they definitely did it right tonight in this tag team match.
Of course. So, Sting and Darby, they get the win over FTR. Before we get into the main event, we got Rampage on Friday night. We'll go over the matches one more time. We got CM Punk making his first match in 7 years against Powerhouse Hobbs. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager against the Men of the Year. Santana and Ortiz team up with the Lucha Bros to face the HFO. That's Private Party and Butcher and Blade, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we got that 8-man tag. We got the Super Click against Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, Penelope Ford and Anna Jay. And then the main event, they said tonight that the main event on Friday is going to be Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer in a lights-out match. And I, for one, am really looking forward to that ovation Eddie Kingston gets on Friday. Is it me? Is it me? Or do I think he's going to walk out there and he's going to shed a tear?
He's probably gone. I mean, Eddie Kingston, I think it's shown he's not afraid to show his emotional side, man. And folks, if you haven't watched the video posted on Twitter that's been surfacing of Eddie Kingston delivering kind of a pre-show promo for Rampage on Friday and being in his old apartment in New York, man, you have, I'm telling you, go out of your way and watch it. It's like a 2-minute clip, I think 2 to 4 minute clip, something like that. But definitely go out of your way to watch it because Eddie Kingston pours his heart out in that video, man. And you just goes to show you, man, how much he loves this business, how much he loves being in the position that he's in. And honestly, man, I couldn't be happy for the guy that he's getting to perform in front of 20,000 of his own people in New York, man. I mean, nobody deserves it more than Eddie Kingston does, really. And so honestly, folks, go out of your way and watch that. But man, lights out, Moxley, Kingston, Archer, Suzuki. My goodness, it's going to be brutal. My goodness, it's going to be bloody. And my goodness, it's going to be so much damn fun, man. Golly, it's so great. It's be all elite, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And then, of course, next week, we have Sammy Guevara against Miro, the TNT Championship, in Rochester, New York. And that's the only thing announced for that show. And I don't think Sammy wins next week, dude. I've said it. I've said it here. I've said it again. Miro should be the champion going into next year. And I don't think an episode of Dynamite after this huge show tonight, I don't think we get a title change next week.
We'll see what happens, man. I'd say it's definitely a toss-up. I'd say anything can happen, man. I mean, AEW has proven before they're not afraid to change titles on Dynamite, and so anything can happen. I mean, heck, they showed at Rampage with CM Punk's debut that anything is possible on AEW television, man. So we'll see. But overall, man, I'm just very much looking forward to the fact that we're getting Sammy Guevara versus Miro in a professional wrestling ring for that prestigious TNT Championship. My goodness, we are in for a massive treat next week.
The main event of tonight's show was for the AEW Women's Championship. This is the first time ever that the AEW Women's Championship has main evented on a Dynamite episode. They main evented the first ever Rampage with Red Velvet and Britt Baker, and now they main evented AEW Grand Slam in front of 20,000 people. The women were at the main event. So I'm going to say this right here. There's people that say the women's division sucks. Tony Khan doesn't give a shit about the women's division. You can go be quiet. You can go. You can shut up, okay? Because clearly Tony Khan cares about the women's division. This match was the main event, and you've got to feel great for Ruby Soho. I mean, this woman went from being unused in a meaningless faction that was going nowhere. She was looked at as an enhancement talent. Even though she was on the show weekly, she was looked at as an enhancement talent. They weren't going to push her. Just look at her, man. Just look at her. They were not going to push her at all. And now she goes to AEW. She wins the Casino Battle Royal. And she's main eventing on AEW's biggest television show ever in New York City in front of 20,000 people against probably the most over women's wrestler in the entire world for the AEW Women's Championship. How awesome. How amazing is that, bro?
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I mean, AEW is for their wrestlers, they're for their fans, man. I mean, it's just a big, happy environment, man. I hear all the stories about how great of an environment it is, and you hear from Ruby Soho herself, you hear it from Adam Cole, you hear it from Punk and Bryan. I mean, they love the environment that they're a part of with AEW. I mean, it's always just a great time whenever they're around each other with the wrestlers and the backstage crew and everybody. I mean, everybody's all on the same page. Everybody's working together to put on the best wrestling show possible, and that's what they give us all the time. And with Ruby Soho here tonight, man, I mean, I'm so happy that the women main event. And I thought that was honestly the best way to go about it. Have Danielson and Omega start the show in the hottest way possible, and then end the show with the women, and then a great main event with Ruby Soho and Britt Baker, man. I mean, I don't think you could have lined up the card any better than that. I thought that was an awesome decision. And yeah, I mean, all the detractors out there that want to say, AEW doesn't care about their women's division, Tony Khan doesn't care about the women's division, y'all can just shut your asses up, because clearly, if you watch tonight, you'll see that, hey, AEW actually gives a shit. They actually care about the women's division. They actually want the women's division to grow, and it's growing more and more, especially with the addition of Ruby Soho. And Britt Baker is just made herself into, honestly, yes, the most over woman in all of pro wrestling. I mean, you honestly can't name a more over female wrestler right now other than Britt Baker. I mean, those three letters, DMD, are the three most over letters in all professional wrestling. Every time she says them, you got so many people just chanting along with her at the top of their lungs, and it's a beautiful sight to see. And yeah, this match tonight, great main event. Of course, Britt Baker retained. I figured as much. But again, nothing taken away from Ruby Soho at the end. Man, Ruby Soho got to main event on AEW Grand Slam in front of 20,000 people in New York City. Man, I mean, I love it, man. I'm so happy for her. And WWE, they missed up. They missed the boat. Big time on Ruby, man. I mean, she could have been something so special for their women's division, but it said, nope, you don't have the plastic Barbie doll look that we're looking for, so we're just going to pass on you. But, that's okay, because AEW picked her right up, and now they put her immediately in the main event of AEW Dynamite for the women's title, man. I mean, hell, nobody deserves it more than her.
Yeah, she had a great match tonight as well. Even though this match was the main event, I still did not think she had a chance of winning the title. She had no chance of winning that championship, nor should she have. Britt Baker won this match with the locked jaw. She tapped out Ruby Soho. They had a great match. If you have not seen it, you should go back and watch it. I'm not going to go over it move for move, but I thought they had a great match tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a great main event. The women really went in there and delivered, and women's wrestling is just getting better and better for AEW. Man, you can see the growth happen more and more, man. And if you're watching, Elevation in Dark like I do on a weekly basis, you'll see so many women are showcased on there. So many women are getting their shots in there to really prove that, hey, they can make it on Dynamite and Rampage too. I mean, we've seen women like Layla Hirsch come in and make appearances on Dynamite and Rampage because she's very good at what she does. And then you got, of course, Red Velvet. She was a part of the first ever Rampage main event with Britt Baker. I mean, and of course you got Jade Cargill, who is on one of
She's still getting better.
She's still getting better. Yeah, she's not quite there just yet. She is getting better as the more we do see her, though. So I do appreciate that. I hope to see a little bit more moves in her arsenal over time, because it does seem like she has a kind of varied amount of moves in her arsenal at the moment. But again, she hasn't been doing this for very long, I don't believe. So it's all about growth in professional wrestling. I mean, and growth. I mean, look at Britt Baker. I mean, she's grown into what she is today, and that is just an absolute superstar. And it's amazing how we looked at Britt, back when they first signed her in 2018, and looking at her now. I mean, it's just like the growth is just substantial. It's unbelievable. And AEW always gives the opportunities to their wrestlers, male or female. They give them the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to learn. And I mean, they got all these legends here, all these scouts here that have been a part of the business for so many years, and that they know the business like it's the back of their hand. It's just wonderful to see all that growth just come together for so many different wrestlers, and we're gonna continue to see that over time, man. I mean, the future is very, very bright in professional wrestling, and it's really, we can all really thank that to you give all the thanks for that to AEW. That's for sure.
I'll say this about Britt Baker, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I remember going to my first AEW show. It's the only AEW show I've ever been to. It was the third episode of Dynamite, and she wrestled Riho for the Women's Championship. And she was a babyface. She wasn't really that over at the time. People liked her, but she wasn't over. And I was watching the match, and I was like, ooh, she is green as grass. And she's got a long way to go if they want her to be the top star in this division. And she's progressed time and time. They turned her heel. Her turning heel and having this bitch attitude is the best thing that has ever happened to her in her career. She's great in the ring now. She's not green anymore. She's putting on great matches. And she is the face that AEW wanted in that division as the top female. So, you talk about great character development and wrestler development in ring. I mean, look no further than Britt Baker, man. AEW hit a home run on her, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Britt Baker has just really crafted herself into just the mega star that she is right now, man. I mean, she's just on top of the world, and I couldn't be happier for her. And I'm just so happy to see her just grow into what she has become today, and it's only gonna get better for her, man. And her match with Thunder Rosa at St. Patrick's Slam and that lights out match still holds that top spot for me as far as best women's match all year, man. I mean, and it's probably still gonna hold that spot until the very end of 2021, man, because I loved everything they did in the match, and I do believe that rivalry will come back to blows, in the near future. Not super soon, but I do believe eventually they will turn back to each other at some point. But man, just what a great time we had tonight, man. I mean, what a great time we have every week talking about AEW, man. I mean, honestly, we never really. It's funny, it's like we never sit here and have a horrible time doing these reviews. Why is that? Because AEW delivers great professional wrestling programming every single week, whether it's Rampage, whether it's Dynamite. We're here and we got smiles on our faces, and it's for a good reason. It's because we're very happy to see a company that truly cares about their audience, that truly cares about their wrestlers, that truly cares about producing the best pro wrestling show they can. Not perfect by any means, and we know that for sure. I mean, we call them out on things we don't like, but at the end of the day, we're happy. We're happy professional wrestling fans, man. And if you're not on board just yet, you have to get on board. And I hope tonight's show really turned the page for some people that were still probably feeling a little disenchanted. I really hope that turned the page for you, because you really got to give AEW a chance, because I promise you will not regret it.
I really think AEW did gain a lot of new fans tonight. So, and that's a positive. It's absolutely a positive. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up tonight's AEW Dynamite review. We thank you all for watching the review. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel for some more content this week coming up. We got a video tomorrow, Friday, Rampage, Saturday. I don't think I'm doing anything Saturday. And then Sunday, we got a double whammy with Dolphins reaction video and Extreme Rules. I'm going to be watching WWE for the first time in a month. So,
best of luck, man. Best of luck.
We'll see how that goes. Comment down below your thoughts about tonight's AEW Grand Slam show. Leave it in the comments down below. We want to hear you about what you have to say. So please leave your comments down below. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from myself and Wesley Williams in tonight's review. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, @Conlon_Joseph. Wes, you can plug your socials. Where can these people follow you?
Well, all these fine men and women can find me on Twitter. That is @big_Wes18, BIG_WES18. I tweet and talk about AEW Dynamite every single Wednesday night, as well as AEW Rampage every Friday night. Here on the reviews on Wednesdays with Joseph for Dynamite, and of course this Friday we're going to be talking about 2 special hours of AEW Rampage with myself, Joseph Conlon, and our third man, Cameron Johnson. So folks, you do not want to miss that Grand Slam review on Friday night when we talk about AEW Rampage. 2 hours of great wrestling content, man. It's going to be great. 20,000 strong once again, man. We're going to see 20,000 people on our screens once again Friday night. I mean, you can't get any better than that. And it's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be a longer night, but you know what? It's all worth it for All Elite Wrestling. So folks, make sure you subscribe to Big Fight Field. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment down below what was your favorite part about AEW Grand Slam tonight. And folks, stay tuned for much more content here on the Big Fight Field channel, and that definitely includes our Friday review of AEW Rampage. 2 hours, folks. Remember, 2 hours of great wrestling content, and myself, Joseph Conlon, and Cameron Johnson will be here to cover it all Friday night.
Folks, we will see you on Friday. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, man, stay classy.